While people die every day, the manner in which they pass is not always the same. Many go peacefully, but some deaths are quite heartbreaking, like being killed by your ex-boyfriend and then being buried in a barn in Alabama. That's exactly what happened to the victim of today's crime story, Cassie Carli, who went missing for 7 days. From made-up text to tampered evidence, the details of this murder will definitely give you chills, so stay tuned. Cassie Carli was a 34-year-old mother from Florida who was last seen in the car park of a beachside restaurant close to her residence in Navarre. Authorities then discovered her car, which had her handbag as well as the couple's 4-year-old child. On the night she vanished, Cassie had gone to meet her ex-boyfriend Marcus Spanevelo, with whom she shared a kid, for a child exchange in the parking lot of a local restaurant. Carli, as per reports, was always in touch with her dad, with whom she lived, and the rest of the household members, and was never one to disappear. According to sources, it was earlier observed that Carli attempted to meet Spanevelo in public areas, such as a Walmart parking lot, but that he had recently switched his meetup sites. Hours before her last meeting with her ex-boyfriend, Carli squinted inside her dad's room at their shared home prior to leaving. After that, her father went to sleep only to wake up hours later to discover his daughter had not come home. The FBI even put a bounty of $3,000 on any information leading to her. After almost a week of searching, investigators found Carli's remains buried in an Alabama barn. It was 300 miles away from where she was last seen alive. According to Sheriff Bob Johnson, Carli was actually identified by a tattoo. It was on her right foot and was the type of tattoo that led them to believe that this was definitely her. On the night of Cassie's disappearance, her father Andrew Carl texted his daughter writing, "I'm freaking out, Cass. Call me as soon as you get this message." A response from his daughter's phone followed soon after, which read, "I'm sorry the car was acting up and I broke my phone. Marcus is working on it. I will stay at his place tonight." Neither her sister Rayanne nor her father believes that Cassie sent that message. According to text messages and Facebook Messenger exchanges between Spanevelo and Carli's family members prior to the discovery of her body, the man claimed that Carli had been acting crazy and asked him to drop her off somewhere in Destin, Florida, where her friend lived. In an interview with the U.S. Sun, Cassie's younger sister Rayanne Carli describes Spanevelo as an extremely abusive narcissist, whom Cassie grew increasingly frightened of in the weeks leading up to her death. So much so that Cassie once issued her sister an ominous warning, allegedly telling her, "If something should happen to me, it was him." Cassie was also considering obtaining her own concealed carry permit in the weeks before her tragic death, but had cooled any urgency because Spanevelo had grown more friendly in recent weeks, bringing her guard down. While Rayanne says Spanevelo never laid a hand on Cassie, her purported fear he could harm her stemmed from the way he would say things to her and the look in his eyes when he said it. Cassie and Spanevelo met in 2018 and had only been dating for around 2 months when Cassie fell pregnant. While still in the early stages of the relationship, Rayanne said her sister was determined to make things work with Spanevelo, but around 5 months into her pregnancy, she couldn't bear to be with him any longer. Cassie and Spanevelo were for years locked in a bitter custody dispute over their daughter. In August last year, Rayanne launched a GoFundMe page to help Cassie with her mounting legal fees. A post on the fundraiser written by Cassie referred to Spanevelo as a master manipulator, an abuser, and a narcissist. On the day she was found, investigators were conducting a search warrant at a property in Alabama where they discovered Carli's body in a barn in a shallow grave. Her body appeared to be intact when they made the discovery, and there were no obvious signs of trauma. St. Clair County Coroner Dennis Russell told Fox News Digital the victim's body was recovered from a property along Highway 11 in Springville, Alabama, roughly 30 miles northeast of where the police first caught up to Spanevelo in Birmingham. He said Spanevelo had ties to the property but would not specify how. Spanevelo was arrested in Tennessee the same day Carli's body was discovered. Not only was he the prime suspect from the very start, but he was also charged with tampering with evidence and providing false information to law enforcement officers. And we'll now see why. Spanvelo's warrant affidavit is heavily redactive but indicates Spanevelo told someone who texted him to check on Carli's whereabouts that she had car issues and he gave her a ride. The The report also indicates Spanevelo wrote they got into a verbal altercation. Carli got out of his vehicle on the side of the road and he continued home to Panama City Beach. Spanevelo gave vague answers regarding the location of Carli and her vehicle, and soon stopped responding to text inquiries about what happened. Carli was ultimately reported missing and was regarded by law enforcement as missing endangered under suspicious circumstances, according to the affidavit. In the investigation, Spanevelo reportedly failed to give investigators pertinent information about where he stopped during his trip home to Panama City Beach. Deputies interviewed Spanevelo on March 29th and reportedly gave them an account very similar to the one he provided via text message. The police were able to obtain video surveillance from area condos and businesses and track some of Spanvelo's movements through the night Carli went missing. Despite heavy redactions to the sequence of events, the affidavit does note that there is clearly no one in the passenger seat in some surveillance footage, and that information about Carli being dropped off was not corroborated. In simple words, he was lying. The affidavit also alleges Spanevelo was seen on video entering a vehicle he told investigators he had not touched in any way. Carli's vehicle was found abandoned with her purse still inside in the initial days of the investigation. On March 30th, investigators received an anonymous tip from someone saying Spanevelo told them he had thrown a phone out the window of his truck. This was Carli's phone. In a follow-up interview with deputies, Spanevelo allegedly admitted that he had the phone in his possession, but said he threw it out because he did not care about her property. The affidavit concludes that Spanevelo greatly hindered investigators' attempts to locate Carli by not disclosing pertinent information. He was taken into custody in Tennessee and transported to Santa Rosa County Jail. Once in local custody, he was issued a new charge for refusing to supply a DNA sample after refusing to provide a buccal swab. Spanevelo was so uncooperative that he was called a dirtbag by a police officer. He also had Carli's phone number saved as Miss Nagalot and used to say that she complained too much. He really was a dirtbag. Spanevelo has not been charged in Carli's death, though Santa Rosa County Sheriff Bob Johnson indicated in an April 3rd press conference that charges are likely forthcoming. Currently, investigators are awaiting the completion of an autopsy and toxicology. According to jail records, Spanevelo is being held in Santa Rosa County Jail on a $21,000 bond. Sheriff Johnson has said investigators obtained evidence that forms a great case against Spanevelo, pointing to him being the culprit behind Cassie's death. If the ex-boyfriend did it, which seems like it, he should be put behind bars for the rest of his life. Do you think he did it? If so, how long will his sentence be? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and also check out some of our other videos. When there are further developments in the case, we'll definitely let you know. Until then, make sure to subscribe to this channel for your regular dose of whodunits. Stay safe, stay warm, and don't get any crazy ideas.